Okay, we're good to go. Thank you for coming back. My name is Matthew. This is a brand new episode of Facebook Live with Matthew. I'm in the comfort of my own home in North End, Halifax, Nova Scotia. Beautiful flags behind me. And if you are, this is not a repeat of what you just saw a few moments ago when I went live with George. That was a tech check. But I have to be honest, these are my notes. And these notes have been worked on for days. The moment I knew George was going to be a guest, I started doing research. And by research, I mean just going through his Facebook feed. So everything that we're about to talk about tonight are things that George Woodworth has already posted. It is my responsibility, my fun little duty to extract more information out of George on things he's already talked about. In the simplest forms, think of the following. Think of the next 30 minutes of the who, what, when, where, how, and why of George Woodworth. That's basically, you will hear those, you'll hear, and I don't like to call them questions. We're going to have a conversation. We are going to get caught up with George Woodworth. So I'll do some housekeeping first, and then I'll wait for George to join the broadcast. We just did a tech check. He is good to go. But I will let you know that the weather here tonight in Halifax, Nova Scotia, minus 13 tonight. There's snow in the forecast for tomorrow night, with sun tomorrow, snow tomorrow night, and then sun for Thursday and Friday with more bad weather on the weekend. So it's really up and down. And I want to let you know that the current weather in Kyiv, Ukraine, it's overcast and minus 8. And I will continue to keep you up to date just on the weather because everyone knows everything that's going on over there. So if I can do the simplest of things, as it's just after 3 o'clock in the morning, a Wednesday morning, the 9th day of March in Kyiv, Ukraine, minus 8 and clouds. Heavy, welcome to the broadcast. When I finish my conversation with George Woodworth, there are some things happening here with me and with this family that I want to share with you because that's what this is all about. The technology allows me to turn my laptop on and communicate with people who maybe for the first time, people that I've gone to school with. So this is therapy for me. This is my weekly 30-minute break from reality. So I get to come on here, have some fun, educate you, and one of my main goals is to bring a smile to your face. I want to bring a smile, maybe some laughter to you this evening. Big announcement in Nova Scotia today. Anyone who was involved in film and television is absolutely loving the Nova Scotia Premier right now. Tim Houston made an announcement this morning. There were representatives there from Screen Nova Scotia. I'll tell you what that announcement was, what it means to Nova Scotians, and how I managed to get a couple signatures this morning on the flag right here. Sorry, on this flag right here. And I also mentioned a few days ago that my wife Jen took a new position at IWK here in Halifax. And of course, yes, congratulations are in order. It's a great facility. It's a great organization. We have just hit the ground running here. But I didn't mention exactly what Jen was doing at IWK. So I will share that with you after I speak with George. And I witnessed something today, two individuals littering. So I'm just going to talk about littering. And if you have a scenario, maybe you've just seen an act of littering that you just couldn't comprehend, put it up in the comment section. So again, just waiting for George Woodworth. I don't have, there's a couple of ways that I can bring people into Facebook Live. They can invite themselves in and I would see that prompt, or I can go searching for them in the crowd. And right now I have 3 options and none of those options are George Woodworth. So thank you for the live views. I know, and I'm so glad that a lot of George Woodworth's friends and family are going to, if you're watching this live, it's going to be great. And please, if you have, actually, I'll pass this over with George first, but I'm sure because I have things that I want to know about George, and maybe you do as well. So leave comments. If there's something you want to know that I'm not asking, please leave it in the comment section, and hopefully George can respond. So thank you for all the live views. If you're watching this at your leisure, I appreciate that as well. In the nearly 5 years that I have been getting in front of the camera and doing this, I've never once asked or expected anyone to just stop abruptly what you're doing to watch me on camera. So again, the live views are great. You're participating in the moment, but maybe you're watching this right now and it's Saturday morning and you're having a coffee. If you're getting caught up, I appreciate that as well. And if at any time you like what you see in here, just share. That's all. Just share. Again, just hanging out, Facebook Live on a beautiful Tuesday night here in Halifax, Nova Scotia, waiting for George Woodworth. Ask him about deer hunting last season. You know what? I see just remarkable photos up on the internet of George. But George is in here now. It says he's watching. So I'm just waiting for the prompt to bring George Woodworth into the broadcast. There he is. Okay, I'm just going to pick up my notes and then we'll bring George in. Okay, let's do this. Sent the invite to George Woodworth. The next person you see split screen will be Mr. Woodworth. You all good, George? I can hear you, yes. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Perfect, perfect. How are you, George?
Awesome.
Yes.
Yourself?
You know what? I at this moment, I don't have any real, I guess you could call them first world problems. Just looking at,
First world problem.
yeah. And so, but I'm okay. And I'm a lot better now that you have joined the broadcast. It's been a while since you and I have had a conversation.
It is. I think when you were driving across the country.
When I was just here in August?
No, you were driving across the country. We chatted on Messenger, not live.
Oh, okay. Not on a show. Yeah. That would have been out west. It's been a few years. So,
Yep.
What I was telling everyone watching the broadcast here, all I've done is I've gone through your Facebook page, and I know for sure that there are people watching this broadcast that have never seen me before, but know you, and vice versa. So
Okay.
I'm just wondering if you can give us the backstory on George Woodworth, and then I have some things that I'd like to discuss with you.
Like from grade 7 or like from where?
Well, let's go back to the accident. Let's go back to the accident. And what I want to start off asking you, George, is what kind of path were you on professionally, personally, before the accident? Because that was a life-changing moment for you.
Oh, for sure. So my mother and I had bought a special care home, and I was doing renovations on my own when I wasn't working there. I was working on call for the Fredericton Sheriff's Department, um, working a few security jobs here and there. Uh,
What year is this, George?
2007.
2007. Okay.
Yeah, 14 years ago, I guess. Yeah, 14, 15, something like that. And September 8th rolled around, and I was out chopping firewood, which I loved to do. I loved to work hard. I love to push my body. I never liked working out. I hate it. It's like repetitious. Like, what is the point? But
Mhm.
working hard, I loved to work hard. I was talking to my uncle about it one time after I got hurt. He said, "Yeah, you were like a wind-up toy," which I totally I never realized that about myself. But anyway, that's I guess it's all perspective.
Mhm.
And the guy that lived next door to the special care home, Gerald, um, he really when we met, I really fell in love with the man. My father had drowned when I was like before when I was a baby, so I never knew him. But if my dad had lived, I would have wanted him to be Gerald. Uh, like outdoorsman, had
Mhm.
he had a coon hound, which is something I won't go into that, but some lifelong dream I had wanted to go coon hunting, and I didn't even know people did that around here. But
Mhm.
so I was always after him to, when are you going to take me? When are you going to take me out? So you hunt raccoons at night. So he stopped by Saturday morning and asked me if I want to go. There was a guy down the road that had problems with raccoons destroying his corn crop, and well, I was wound for sound. Like, so he picked me up around 10 o'clock, and you hunt raccoons at night. Obviously, I think I said that because they don't come out much in the daytime.
Mhm.
So, you can't go hunting at night in the dark with a gun without having a beer or two. So, it just goes hand in hand, I guess, and not common sense, but uh, I've since given up all forms of alcohol. But anyway, I wasn't drunk, but I was, I was having too much fun to think about safety.
Mhm.
I climbed up a tree and a branch broke under my foot, and the next thing I knew was Wednesday evening, and I woke up in the neuro uh, NICU neuro intensive care unit in St. John, and I couldn't. All I could do was move my head. I couldn't move my arms. I couldn't look down to see what was wrong with me. Nothing. And I had always said, uh, excuse me, unknowingly, because I had never been there. I said if I was ever, disabled, if I was ever stuck in a wheelchair, I would just get a ticket out of here. That was kind of what the phrase I used. So they didn't want to tell me what was wrong with me. I heard the doctor talking to my mom, uh, realized what had happened to me, and I straight out asked him. I said, will I ever walk again? And he said no. And I said, so where do we go from here? And it's been a journey ever since. I'm
Mhm.
a much better person. I'm a totally different father, a different son, a different. Uh, I just view the world with more empathy. I don't. I think I was too busy, um, and I'm an only child, so I'm kind of selfish. Uh, but I've learned to slow down and you know reach out, and I'm trying to give back instead of take. And yeah, I guess I got hooked up with Ability New Brunswick when I was in rehab, and as a client or a service participant, and I never ever dreamt that I would be, you know, the president of the organization. It never just never occurred to me. Courtney Keenan was the president at the time, and one of the first and most important uh, events that happened in rehab was seeing him wheel into the gym with a big grin on his face. And I remember sitting there thinking, what has he got to smile about?
Mm.
He's stuck in a chair for the rest of his life without the use of his hands. What's he got to smile about? And so he came over and we kind of hit it off, and he's he likes to laugh and joke and smile, and I'm the same way. So we kind of clicked and it went from there. And I thought, well, I guess if he can do it, maybe I can do it too. So I joined the board of directors a couple of years later in 2009, I think, and it's just went from there.
What are some of the rewards that you've received? Not medals and stuff, but personal rewards and yeah.
Connecting with my boys. You mean from Ability New Brunswick, or
No, just in general, not that, just personally.
Personal satisfaction in being a better person, I guess. Um, I I love to help people. I like being part of Ability New Brunswick, which is a great organization which helps people with mobility disabilities. Um, we connect people with programs like the vehicle retrofit program, which we house in-house now. It's a provincial program that partially funds uh, adaptation to people's vehicles after if they get hurt or if they are impaired in some way and need a retrofit. We did a crowdfunding campaign. I can't remember what year it was in. I think it was like 2018, and I was lucky enough to get a van funded and got a great buy on it from from Terry. I, we must be getting old. I can't. Uh,
Well, you
Terry
think about
Burpee,
that, George. Sorry?
Terry Burpee's family. Um, he had just gotten a new van before he passed away, and they gave me a great deal on it. It was almost, made to fit what I needed, and I could just, press a button, the door opens up, the ramp comes out, I drive in my chair, it docks behind the steering wheel like a fifth wheel, and away I go. It was like a whole new world. Again, I could drive independently, get in and out of my vehicle, and about 8 months after that, I had nerve compression in my neck, and I had a nerve decompression surgery again in St. John, and I kind of lost the use of my right arm. But it was I literally couldn't move my left arm for almost a year. I had a strap around my wrist so I could move my left arm with my right arm, and but it's coming back. I exercise every chance that I get. The exercises that I hate, but it's a necessary part of life as a quadriplegic, as anyone will tell you. Any quadriplegic will tell you, and yeah, I guess I'm running out of words.
No, it's okay. I just wanted to quickly ask you one final thing about Ability New Brunswick. Are you satisfied? A couple of things. Do you see the numbers rising, and do the funds match, the services that you need to provide?
Our caseloads are kind of a revolving door, but yes, definitely, um, I don't know the exact staff numbers now, but we are ever growing. We have an
Okay.
office in Fredericton, Moncton, and St. John, and a virtual one uh, in the northern part of the province.
Okay. There's something else I want to talk to you about, George. Tell me about the documentary Grit, and what does Haley Flero mean to you?
Grit, the documentary Grit.
Well, by documentary, it's only 20 minutes long, but I know you're in it. You're like, the opening scene is you. Again, this is just stuff that you have put up on your own Facebook. I may be going back a few months, but it
Uh,
just,
it, I have a brain injury as well, which has affected my memory. Um, you know, I know I should be pulling up memories of that because I remember filming it, but I can't remember what it was about. Uh, which is
I
embarrassing.
think it was different stories. I think it was like a different stories, but what I'll do, George, is I will take that and I will share it in the comment section here so people can have a
Okay,
look at that. Okay.
okay.
Um,
Haley, Haley Flair
yeah.
is the director at Ability New Brunswick, and she is one awesome gal. Her drive has really taken the organization places that it never would have gone. Uh, and she's uh, she's a taskmaster for anyone
Hmm.
working.
Hmm.
Anyone working with her will tell you, not in a bad way. I totally didn't mean like she's got the whip out or anything. But um, if Haley's drive is hard to match, really. She's uh, she's the person that first introduced me to the idea that I could drive again after I was hurt. And I thought, I remember thinking, and I've said the line 100 times, like, they don't let people like me drive, lady. Like, I'm disabled, but you're crazy. They obviously do let people like me drive
Hmm.
with the right adaptation.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like you've put videos up of, uh, the vehicle. And just a couple more things, George. And speaking of vehicles, and I hope that you can recollect this. I didn't, and I apologize when I'm asking these questions. I didn't understand that some of that information would not be retrievable, which is just that in itself makes me sad. But just one final thing. I know you used to do woodworking,
Yeah.
and now that you're in the apartment you don't have that anymore. How has that affected you in any way?
It's really, that was a huge. I almost think that the surgery and the nerve compression and the following surgery was more. It was harder to get over than the original injury, um, because I had been injured, built you know built a business up, adapted my shop so I could work down there totally independently, and then I just got in the van set up and I could drive independently, and boom, you lose the use. You've got two working limbs and you lose half of that.
Mm.
That's pretty dramatic. And it really was harder to deal with mentally, psychologically, than the original injury, I think. And maybe because I had less to feed from than I originally did. You're starting from a lower podium, I guess. Uh,
Mm.
but, I do love woodworking. There's one of my pieces up there behind me that I've done with my son. Those are two bayonets from the American Civil War, uh, which I'm a fan of. Not a fan of. Yeah, well, I'm a fan of because of the results, but I'm I'm not a fan of any kind of war. But I do like older things.
Hmm.
I collect antiques, and like they're like over 150 years old. So I'm quite proud of those. And but woodworking,
Uh,
I really do miss it. Yeah,
hmm, okay. But for you, woodworking is kind of like riding a bike. You know how to do it. That skill, the passion will never go. You just need to get in a space where you can do it again. And when you can, you'll start
you know,
doing it again, right?
yeah. Oh, for sure, for sure.
Okay, George, I really appreciate this, and I just want to close with one final thing. I know there are, well, a lot of your friends are in here. A lot of my friends are in here. People that I've never met that know you quite well. Uh, a few moments ago, you made reference to when you were just starting your rehab, and you saw an individual come into the gym with a smile on his face, and you just were dumb. You couldn't understand how that individual was smiling. So, if you can, to the individuals out there who are where you were all those years ago, uh, what message do you give them aside from just saying, stay positive and don't give up? Like, is there anything more to that? And so think on that, and just if there's anything special you want to say to all your friends and family and supporters, this is your opportunity to do so.
Well, thank you everyone that's been there. My mom, my boys, Gary, Dennis, um, I my ex partner, Kat, she's moved back to the UK, but still a big part of my life. Oh, just the the names are too far. My physiotherapist and occupational
Mm,
therapist, and other members of my family and stuff. From where I was sitting back then, yeah, it's all perspective. Um,
mm.
when you know better, you do better. So, um, like, don't ever give up. Uh, as long as you're breathing, drawing, pulling air.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really have to be any more simple than that, right? You have to always have that will to live.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
And
And
focus
know
on
that,
one.
yes, and know that, the doctors and the experts can be proved wrong. Like, you can heal your body, within. So,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. I'll be walking
George,
by
you'll be walking by when?
Christmas. I don't know which Christmas.
Beautiful. Well, I hope that, and I know everyone else watching this show hopes that as well. George, always a pleasure. Enjoy the rest of your night, and don't forget, I'm here in Halifax. You're in Fredericton. The next time I'm up going to Woodstock, I will be stopping in and seeing you. Absolutely.
Love to hear it.
Perfect. Thanks, George. Have a good night.
My pleasure. Take care, Matt.
Okay. So I'll let George excuse himself out of here. Thank you for the live views. That was really nice. Just an amazing individual. Thank you for the live views. If you're watching this at your leisure, I appreciate that as well. George, you can get
I
yourself out of here, but
I
if not,
can
it's
you kick
okay
me out?
because, well, I don't think I can. So just hang tight for like 2 minutes if you can, George.
Yeah.
I just want to quickly talk about what's happening here. Screen Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia government made a big announcement today. They're investing all kinds of millions of dollars in film and television here in Nova Scotia. That was just awesome news. I took I took the flag with me right here. Where are we here? I took this flag with me this morning because I do security at one government place. So I see these people when they come and go. So when all the business was done, the executive director, Laura McKenzie, and the chair of the board of directors, Mike Volpe, they were there. So I had them sign the flag. So that was my story. So right now there's 1,302 signatures on the flag. And lastly, litterers, people who litter. Quick story. On my way home today, I watched two individuals. They were fighting with a mattress, like a queen size box spring, and the other mattress. It was windy. Both mattresses were off the vehicle. I thought they were just like retying them down. No, they took both mattresses, threw them over the guardrail, and then drove across the bridge to Dartmouth. Who does that? Littering two massive, massive household items in broad daylight at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Who does that? And one final thing. Super proud of my wife, Jen. She just got a job at the IWK, which is exciting, but she will be working with youth 12 and under with violent behavioral issues. So yes, it's a good paying job, but she is going into an environment that she's not used to. So we are happy, and thank you for all the congratulations. But just keep that in mind that she will be working with youngsters who, for the most part, have never, ever, ever experienced love. So they are in for a beautiful rainbow of love that's going to show up at the IWK when my wife starts working there. So really proud of Jen. Okay, George, thanks for hanging out that little extra bit. I didn't want to throw you out of the broadcast or end it prematurely. Love you, man. You take care, and we'll see you next time. I'm coming up through New Brunswick. I'm going to stop in and see you. Okay.
You better.
Okay. Okay, George, take care. Thank you for the live views. Brand new show tomorrow night, 9 o'clock. I'll be speaking with another classmate of mine, Lori Young. She just beat cancer. Yeah, another inspiring friend, individual, human. Tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, Facebook Live with Matthew. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care, George.